Might as well talk more about piercing strategy. As the name imply, make a big dude that multi-attacks and give it piercing. Just a very neat win con. I have here is like 5 decks that does it nicely. And they're pretty easy to use. No particular order by the way. Deck list will be included. So let's get this over with. Deck 1 is Pureglass. Talked about it from previous vid. The pros are: has slot for tech cards against meta. Anti-GY from Grand Extreme. 2500 def from Pureglass. Dragias can be a menace even without Pierce. For the cons: require more setup for the Pierce combo. Has harder time dealing with traps. Deck 2 is LMachine. Either mid-range style or cyber style does it, cause they both run the key card for the piercing strategy, which is Mirror Innovator. The pros are: easy pierce and boost from Mirror Innovator alone. Mid-range has slot for tech cards. Has access to Battle Demotion, which is one of the few traps that works on trap immunes like Seven's Chariot. Cyber style can get deck higher ceiling and potential OTK with Power Bond. Can run Rush Horn for Cyber Twin. And Cyber Rush can potentially dig for Mirror Innovator. Has semblance of back row control with Cyber Griffin and Iron Onslaught. Cyber Dragon itself can be annoying for Excutie to deal with. The con are: cyber style has tight deck spot of wanting light machines. Deck can be slow sometimes since it rely mostly on drawing and protecting Mirror Innovator. Mirror Innovator don't do double attack, unless funny sacrificial summon gimmick. Deck 3, Gamble Machine. This applies same machine theory but with extra win con from Steel Speed. The pros are: has the traits of mid-range machine like slot for tech cards. Has amazing recovery with Peachy 7 and Joint Tech Leo. For the cons: toss coin. Fragile due to running a lot of 2400 base attack. Deck 4 is DGalaxy. With the new set give us a pretty strong card, Voidable Gear Chrysaor, which can potentially attack 3 times. Also has a strong fusion, Gigantomachia. Equip this bosses with Phalanx and you will deal a lot of piercing damage with it. The pros are: Phalanx give both pierce and trap protection, so this itself is a back row control. Mid-range can run Star Transfer for that extra boost and piercing. Has a neat boss recovery with Kyrie and Cataphractos. Fusion can increase its potential ceiling, especially with Protostar reviving Chrysaor. 2000 def can be enough for walling Excutie. For the cons: lacks tech slot since you need a lot of Dark Galaxy to avoid missing the Chrysaor effect. Lack of Dark Galaxy choice in deck building. Gigantomachia is hard to summon. Hard to rely on it. Deck 5 is Warrior. Soldier Spear gives all Warrior trap protection, Guildford Rising for the multi-attack and Piercing Samurai for Pierce. The pros are: 2200 plus def, which is nice against Excutie. Good recovery with either Mezime or Megi Nagi. Ruler's Current gives ton of boost. High OTK potential. Has room for tech cards. For the cons: require too much cards for the combo, that includes discards from Ruler's Current. Has to rely on Ruler's Current to out big stats. Guildford Rising isn't a repeatable effect. Note, with the upcoming release of Music Princess cards, this strategy might potentially get buffed. Other good piercing cards are: Trigger Draco and Thunder Gazelle in Thunder. Meteor Charge and Transformer Riker in Galaxy. Claw Leon for Caligoo Leon. Dragia Star F on Fusion Dragon. QWERTY Keyblade for FGD or Metageas. Grace Spear on Wonder Fusion. Noodle Art of Spicery in Noodle Pyro. Straight Pierce on Music Princess. Powerful Pierce on decks that can high-level swarm. Crank to 10 as a generic. But have to remind you, Pierce is less effective if there's no multi-attack or require too much setup. You also need to establish a threatening board with this kind of deck since they won't be forced to go on defensive if your board is less scary. There's also the option of Thunderbolt looping instead. Well, that's about it. Now scram.